Welcome to Bad Dice, the UK's first Warhammer Fantasy Battle podcast. We bring you news, reviews and updates from all around the UK tournament scene. Your hosts are Ben Curry and Ben Johnson. We hope you enjoy the show, and if you do, be sure to let us know. You can contact us on thebens@baddice.co.uk or leave a positive review on iTunes. Welcome to episode 59 of the Bad Dice podcast. I'm your host, Ben Curry.
And I'm Ben Johnson.
And we're getting a quick and dirty one in just before the South Coast GT, aren't we?
That's right, yeah. Give everyone something to listen to on the way down.
Yeah, hopefully that's
the long drive.
So we've got a couple of interviews later in the show. We've got Andrew Galea coming in from Rankins HQ.
Mr. Rankins HQ.
Yeah, come to talk about his trip over to Adepticon to, just going to fill us in on everything that went off over there.
On all things wargaming in America.
All the stuff up and coming new out of Rankins HQ. And then we've got another chap called Brad coming on later in the show to talk about, he actually played at Adepticon. He's going to talk about Adepticon from the tournament player's perspective and also the American tournament scene in general, because he's does a lot of events.
And the list he's taken to the Hard Boys tournament.
Yeah. Triple abominations by all accounts.
Naughty boy.
So yeah, that's what we've got lined up later in the show. We're going to have a quick run through our South Coast lists at the end of the show, so you're going to have to listen to all the rest to get that. And we're also going to run through what's new and what's coming up in Games Workshop news, because there's been a bucket of it since our last show, and we only recorded a week ago. Yeah, plenty. Okay, before we get that, we're going to get into our episode sponsors. So we'll start with Rankins HQ. Anyone who doesn't know what they are, you check them out at rankinshq.com. It's an international ranking site for all sorts of wargaming game systems from around the world. They also do Rankins HQ TV, which is a professionally produced TV show. Again, showcasing the best models, the best painters, the best tournaments, again, from all around the world.
It's fantastic.
It is pretty fantastic, isn't it? So you can check that out at rankinshq.com. Next up, we've got Odd Games. Odd Games are a web store. They're based in the UK, but you can use them wherever you're from. They do 15% off all Games Workshop products, and they've got a wide range of all sorts of just, if you're a geek, get on there. And
card
got
games,
all sorts
board games, computer games, hobby products, magnets, everything. Yeah,
so check them out at oddgames.co.uk. We'll be seeing the Odd Games Massive down at South Coast this weekend. Hopefully they're doing the Odd Games Bingo as well.
Yes.
So we'll have a go at that. We'll fill you in on the next episode.
Did you suggest any for them?
No, I didn't. Did you?
I did, yeah.
You want to talk about that next time or now?
I don't know. Well,
We'll talk about it next time. We'll talk about the bingo on the next show and how the Odd Games guys went with that. So check them out at oddgames.co.uk. Okay, next up we have Unseen Lurker. I was speaking to Bobo today, actually. He was saying he's got a big pile of issue 8. It's just arrived, hot off the press.
Oh, fantastic.
That's the one you're in, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Are you not in with the Army Doctor?
Am, aren't I? Yeah, with the Army Doctor, with the worst photo in the world.
I've not seen it myself yet. The Army Doctor.
There's a nice photo of me, but apparently the article about me is rather short, because I played a game which the Army Doctor was trying to fix somebody's army.
And failed.
Didn't work out too well for the Army Doctor.
Nice, I like that.
Bless him.
Okay, so for those who don't know what the hell we're talking about, Unseen Lurker is a magazine. It's a general gaming magazine, but majority focused on Warhammer.
Yeah.
And they do all sorts of hobby events and just general
gaming
Warhammer,
stuff, really.
General gaming articles in there. It's run by gamers, for gamers, so to say.
It's a podcast on paper.
Yeah, basically. And regulars from the UK tournament scene are in there. Yourself, Wayne Kemp from Heel and Hammer's in there regularly.
To be honest, I think all of them boys are in there. I think Brian, Wayne, Dan, and the legend Al Thompson are doing a
campaign, aren't they?
No, War Machine something or other. Taylor 4 Gamers.
Oh,
But it's not
fair
Taylor 4 Gamers. It's the quadrant of something or other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, it's Ben. You've
Yeah,
totally
sorry.
sidetracked us there with your random information about stuff you don't know
just
about.
popped into my head.
Okay, so check them out at unseenlurker.com. You'll be able to download a quarter of the magazine to decide if you like it before you buy it. So, which is quite good actually. I've not seen that anywhere else.
No, it's a good idea.
So yeah, unseenlurker.com. And last but not least, we have Battle Foam.
Battle Foam.
So what are Battle Foam, Ben?
Battle Foam make foam.
Yeah.
Well, they don't make the foam. I don't think they make the foam. I assume they buy the foam in.
I don't know.
But and then they cut
You're
it,
doing well with your sponsors this week.
and then they cut it to whatever size you want. Ever size, ever shape, everything. Fantastic. We
So
got
what Ben's trying to say is they do custom cut foam. If
That's what I said, surely.
you've got a miniature, no matter how big, how small, kind of like this lovely double-barreled warp lightning cannon on the table in front of me, they'll be able to make some foam to fit your miniature to the perfect size. In addition to the foam, they make cases for the foam to go in.
I said that as well.
Check them out at battlefoam.com and have a look at the shiny new website. So
They are definitely the best.
I think
at
that
what
covers
they do.
all our sponsors. So yeah, we're going to go. I think we're going to skip over weeks in Warhammer because neither of us done much, have we? It has only been a week as well.
It has only been a week. I played a game.
You have played one. Go on then.
played Chris Taylor in the Sunshine, which was lovely. Went round his on Saturday morning. Played in his conservatory. We were very, very tempted to pick the table up and plonk it on the lawn. But we
Was it
didn't.
that nice?
It was gorgeous, mate. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. He used his high elves. That was, to be honest, it was a lovely Saturday morning game of Warhammer. Push some toys about, a few cups of teas, spot on.
Excellent. Well, I've
Smashed him, by the way.
you smashed it. Fair enough. Wanted to get that one in. What was
Yeah.
what was you using?
Skaven.
And what was
We're
he
using the
using?
South Coast GT list.
And what was he using?
High elves.
High elves. Okay. Fair enough. So I've not really played any Warhammer. I've been working away in Hull, and I did manage to get over to the Hull's Angels Gaming Club. Got a bit of a game of War Machine in, so posted on Twitter and on the forums asking if anyone wanted a game, and managed to, one of the chaps off Twitter managed to sort me out with a game.
Excellent.
A couple of battle box games of War Machine, and yeah, good fun. Hull's Angels Gaming Club, check them out. It's if you live in the sort of Hull area. Open every night apparently.
Every night.
Every night during the week, I think. Yeah, quite cool. But
Really?
other than that, yeah, I liked it. I'm not going to say a bad word about him. I liked it. I enjoyed myself.
Just every night seems a bit
A bit much, yeah.
much.
Other than that, I've been. I'm not going to go into too much detail about my games because it is War Machine after all. So, yeah.
Ooh, hey.
Other than that, I've been painting. I took a Battle Foam bag actually. My Flames of War bag, my miniature one, over to Hull with me. It's on the floor behind us. Absolutely stuffed it with paints and Corsairs and paintbrushes. Managed to.
To be honest, it's a good size for that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's spot on. That's
Yeah.
why I took a War Machine on instead of a Warhammer one. Because if I took my Warhammer one, it fills my Battle Foam case.
Yeah.
And then I needed all my paints and stuff like that. And I'm sure I could have took stuff out and put paints in. And I thought I'd just take my War Machine. It's easier. And I took the Corsairs to get them painted. So they're painted up to a sort of basic standard now for South Coast. Also, I figured out I was going to ink all my Corsairs on the night before I went away, pack them away in the morning, so I can just 2 nights of highlighting and whatnot.
Yeah.
Didn't have any Devlin mud or black, and only like a tiny bit of purple. So it's like, right, well, I'm going to have to find a Games Workshop in Hull. Better than that, I found a Hobbycraft.
Oh, yeah.
So I managed to pick up all my paints. I also bought a couple of brushes. I spent like 40 quid on paints and brushes. Bought 2 Winsor & Newton Series 7s.
You go through them, don't you? What do you do to them?
No, I've not. I bought a set of miniature. I bought a set of long, and my number 1, I painted 2 armies with it, and it needs replacing.
Really?
Yeah. I painted all my last Dark Elves, which was 2 years ago, and I painted all my current Dark Elves. Well, most of my current Dark Elves with it. So yeah, needs replacing. Just I hammer them. I use them for everything.
Mine have been super. I mean, the ones I've got are ones that I won actually at the first South Coast GT. So again, that was 2 years ago.
I mean, I'm looking for them now. I can't find
In any
them.
case, you dear.
All right, no
You
worries.
just said that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, mine are still loads of life left in them.
Well, I've replaced. I think the problem is I use small brushes to do work that I should probably use a bigger brush and it lasts longer. I just I'm not very careful with them. But then I'm the same when I use a Games Workshop brush. I'm not very careful with them, so they last even less.
Yeah.
I don't mind spending 10 quid on a brush because it lasts, so I'm happy to do that. Actually, someone's done a review on brushes in a recent podcast. Can't remember who it was, though. Might come back to me later. Something I was listening to. Boosted Damage.
And you say I was rambling.
Yeah, the latest Boosted Damage War Machine podcast, but it's some guys we know. John Webb is the guy who does the hobby stuff on there mainly. And he was reviewing like the brushes and that, and he kind of likes the Winsor & Newtons as well.
I'm a big fan.
So other than that, not really done much.
I've done a bit of painting on top. Like I say, painted my Warp Lightning Cannon, built and painted a Warp Lightning Cannon. It's a conversion I've had in my mind for a while. Thought I'd get it knocked out ready for the South Coast.
Yeah, it looks good.
A bit
looks
of spare
great.
time.
Although it does look like it'll fall over.
That's the point.
Yeah. I think you've messed up and then not realised.
No, that's absolutely the point.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've built it so it's at the highest level, but I've also then used the big wheel at the front rather than at the back, which if it was at the front, the triangle piece of framework would be sort of level.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, we'll do it like that, and it's all falling over and spot on.
Bit rickety-rackety.
Bit rackety. I'm not bothered with any of the crew off the actual Warp Lightning Cannon kit. I've used the Iron and the Blood Engineer stud in it, which I think looks quite cool. And
it does look good.
And it's a double-barreled Warp Lightning Cannon, because obviously I made a Plague Claw catapult the other month, but didn't use the big lump of Warpstone as the counterweight. I used the spare Screaming Bell. So I've got a whole cannon spare. So I basically just underslung one underneath, and that's it.
So is this... See, bits of Marscaven have made its way onto this as well, haven't they? Are they bits off the 5th edition Doom Wheel?
Might be.
Yeah. Good to see.
Yeah, recycling, you know what I mean? Save the planet and all that.
Yeah.
So that's all ready to go for the South Coast. There's only one problem. Doesn't fit in my battle foam bag.
Oh, you're joking. You're going to have to get some more foam cut.
I'm going to have to get some more foam cut, yeah. I've got one tray that holds my Bell, Furnace, Abomination, and a Holford Doom Wheel. But currently...
You didn't think you'd be making a second cannon and a Plague Claw at the time of cutting the foam?
No, not at all. So I've got a Plague Claw in space of the Bell, and the cannon won't fit where the Doom Wheel would go. And I've already got a lovely cut out for my first Warp Lightning Cannon, which I'm now lending out, by the way.
Yeah.
He better be bloody grateful. Buy beer, lots of beer.
I'd lend him the plastic one rather than the metal one.
No way, man, I'm using that.
Okay, fair enough. So is that it for your week in one? See, I say, I've not done much other than that, but I've painted 30 Corsairs. I've started on 10 Spearmen as well, and I've played a game, so
that's not too bad.
Not done bad in a week.
No, not bad at all.
So
I've painted a few more Clan Rats, but steadily busting through the Clan Rats. I've booked into a few tournaments as well.
Okay.
Paid up finally for Call to War.
Right, I'm going to that one as well, but I've not booked the ticket yet.
First full weekend in May. And I've also booked up for Warhammer Achievements.
Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to that. It depends on the date. It's not on there.
It is. It is the 4th of June.
4th of June.
Yeah.
I might do then.
Hopefully we're going to have Steve Wren, the organiser of that, on the podcast next episode to give us a rundown of it, the idea behind it. So, yeah, I need to figure out what I need to paint up for that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about Warhammer Achievements because I was thinking of going to Tempest, which is the weekend before.
Okay, yeah.
But Warhammer Achievements looks, I don't know, one or the other. I'll do one of them.
Yeah.
I've booked a tournament, but it's a War Machine ETC one. See,
oh dear. We're going to the dark side.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm going, I've got no interest in defecting from Warhammer to go and play War Machine. I quite like the idea of the ETC in general. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Warhammer and 40k ETC is fantastic. The War Machine one, I imagine it would be just as much fun. There's something like 7 different countries coming. So yeah, I want to be there. I want to see what it's like.
How do they do this country thing? Is it actual countries participating, like the Warhammer and the 40k ETC, or is it just teams that come and adopt a country for the event?
Not following. So I'll explain what the event is. That might answer your question. So the event, you can just enter a team.
Right.
So from England, there's like loads of different teams, different clubs around the country. There's a team of guys coming from Germany, so they've been labelled Team Germany.
Yeah.
Team of guys coming from Sweden, wherever, blah, blah, blah. And there's 7 different nationalities sending teams.
Right.
It isn't a case of if another German team came, there'd only be one Team Germany. I'm sure they wouldn't have to. You wouldn't say, "Oh no, you're only letting one lot of you in," like the ETC would.
Yeah.
But maybe it's going that way in the future. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's got to start somewhere, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And this is a good way of getting an event up and running without there just being 2 or 3 teams there.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it sort of does answer the question.
Well, yeah, I want to be part of it because it's a big international wargaming event. Whether it's Warhammer Fantasy, 40k, whatever, it's good. Good for the hobby. So I think that's it for Weeks in Warhammer. So going on to the news. Now, I've been working away, so you've got the show notes on this, and so I'll leave you to it.
Oh, right. Brilliant. Sorted. Random ramblings from Ben. Well, it's Tomb Kings, isn't it, really? They're the big one.
Yeah, so we mentioned it on the last show that they'd had advanced orders of sort of... No, the advanced orders hadn't gone up, but there was...
I think we recorded on the Tuesday, and the advanced orders went up on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, no, was it something like that? So they're out. We've got a book, obviously. It's a hardback again, colour again, same as the Orc one. No one seems to have seen it yet.
No, there's all sorts of rumours as to why. I don't know.
No,
not going to get into the rumours.
I don't know. Don't really care. Do you know what I mean? It'll be here when it's here. Looks to be... Well, it is full colour. The word on the street is, again, sort of 8 or 10 magic items. Same as the Orc book. 22.5 quid. I don't think it's too bad, to be honest. It's only money. Be fine. You got a limited edition.
To be fair, no, go back to that. So the book's 22.5 quid. See, for a hardback, that's comparable with the Privateer Press stuff.
To be honest, I think it's comparable for any sort of book of that type, isn't it?
I don't think it's pricey.
No.
A lot of people have been moaning about it. I'll happily pay 22 quid, 25 quid, whatever, for a book of that quality.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue. But anyway, carry on.
No,
I digress.
again, I'm not fussed because I'll read it again, I'll get use out of it. Do you know what I mean? I spend a lot more money on a lot more stuff that sits around and does F all. Do you know what I mean? That I never look at.
It does mean 300 quid on army books by the end of the...
I'm not bothered. Probably more than 300 quid, but let's not go there. It's a deck of spell cards, again, limited edition, which...
Yeah, so get them bought.
Get them quick. I've got
We've just been looking at mine on my shelf.
I've
got them all. Now I found the Skaven ones on the shelf in a GW, because I thought they were sold out, but I managed to get some. I've got the full set. I
seem to be missing Beastman ones. I bought them, I've looked at them, I opened them, and then they got lost in the house somewhere.
Don't know where they are. Don't know where tidied.
They are. I can find all the rest, just can't find the Beastman ones. They're 3.5 quid. Again, pre-order is your friend, because there will not be many of them. And then we've got the 3 plastic kits. We've got Necropolis Knights / Skeptical Stalkers.
Sepulchral Stalkers.
Stalkers for sure. They're 33 quid for 3. The blurb on the site is that there's 94 bits in the kit, and they're mounted on a chariot base.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen these in Warhammer World, and they are massive.
Yeah, so you've seen all the basically the black box, haven't you?
Basically, yeah.
You've had to play with the sprues and seen.
Yeah, I had a good look at the sprues, seen some of them built. Like I say, the Stalkers and the Knights are much bigger than they appear on the photos I've seen on the internet. They're really the tails of them really fill a chariot base. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm quite impressed by them. I'm not so keen on the Knights. The guys ride them look as if they'd fall off.
A bit too plunked on top.
Yeah, so I think I'd have them sort of goading them along the floor, I think, if I was going to do them. And then you've got the Kemrian War Sphinx / Necrosphinx.
Now, you were saying this weighs a ton, didn't you?
Yeah, the Necrosphinx is actually heavy because the stuff that's in it, the wings and the big arms with the blades on, are really thick and chunky, and it does feel quite weighty for a plastic kit. And it's all, again, very big. Looks lost on... It's not lost, but the chariot base it's on looks lost. Do you know what I mean? I'd be tempted myself to put it on a bigger one. I think it'd look a bit better. That's 31 quid. Again, that's 88 pieces. Now, a lot of them you're never going to use.
No.
Because you build a War Sphinx, a Necrosphinx, and the War Sphinx you can also mount a Tomb King in. So you get a plastic Tomb King in the box.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, because it works like a chariot. You can either have it with Tomb Guard riding it with big spears, or you can mount your Tomb King in it as a hero choice or a lord choice.
Okay, cool.
Kind of good. So you get a plastic Tomb King for that, and then you get Tomb Guard, 10 in a box. Sorry, £25. Same as all the rest of the elite plastics. You get a choice of halberds or hand weapons. They've got to have shields. So I assume that in the book there's no option for no shields, because the plastic kit have got the arms moulded on to the shield, and there's no separate arm for no shield.
Right, okay, fair enough.
So without seeing the book, I assume that Tomb Guard come with shields.
Yeah.
And you can upgrade them to halberds. There's only one banner in the set. The banner that you see in the pictures is the only one there is. But the dead crow carrion thing, comes off.
Oh, right, so you
don't have to put that on.
Yeah, if you've got two, you can have one with, one without.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Again, nice kit.
So they're the only new kits then, yeah?
They're the only new ones that we've seen so far. However, Games Workshop did release a 15-minute video with Robin Crudence, who's the author.
Yep.
And laid out in front of him was obviously all the new stuff. And in the background was what looked to be a Shabti with bows.
Oh, okay.
And a few character models. Well, a few single figures. I assume they're characters.
Yeah, you don't know because it's only on the video.
It's only on the video, and it's a bit blurry, so you couldn't really make out what they were. But I assume they're going to be new character models.
Okay, so anything else with the new models and releases?
Well, there's obviously a shed load of rumours across the tinterwebs, but there's a fair bit of it as well on the Games Workshop site itself.
So it's on the actual website and on the blog, isn't it?
Yes. So that's what we'll talk about, I think, because the rumours are rumours and we don't know really what's what.
Yeah, and Warsea has also had a spam warning up, so we're going to try and stay away from there for a while. Okay. So what's solid? What do we know?
Well, chariots. From reading the entry on the blog, chariots are D6 impact hits now.
Oh, instead of D3.
Instead of D3, and also there's something along the lines of them being strength 5 if they've got chariots behind them. But I don't know if you have 3 chariots with one behind, you'd have 2 D6 strength 4 and 1 D6 strength 5, or they'd all be strength 5. Don't know.
Okay.
It's not very clear. The big monsters are all toughness 8.
All of them?
All of them. The Sphinx and the Necrosphinx and the War Sphinx, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, just a bit.
But they are big statues come to life.
Yeah, but you can wound everything on
yeah, everything wounds everything on
the sixes. It's not as bad as it sounds.
The War Sphinx has got 4 attacks at strength 5 with killing blow, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Or it can do a Thunder Crush attack, which is if it only has 1 attack, and if it hits, you place a small template over the unit at assumed strength 5, because that's the strength of the model.
Yeah.
So that's a bucket load of guys. You can hit like 16 blokes. Then the crew attack, and there looks to be 3 crew, and then it gets Thunderstomp.
Okay, but you can have characters riding these as well.
But you can have a Tomb King in one as well.
Nice.
You lose all the crew by the looks of things.
Right. Okay.
But yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. The Necrosphinx is killing blow and has decapitating strike, which means it says on the blog it's 1 attack. Now, whether that's 1 attack out of its 4 or 5 or whatever it's got, or it has to just do 1 attack.
Right. Okay. So you might be able to choose to do 1 instead of.
Yeah. Is it strength 10 with heroic killing blow?
Nice.
And it can fly.
Yeah.
Flying statues.
Oh.
Yeah.
Both had the same idea on that one.
Exactly. It also says on there you can get 4 War Sphinxes or Necrosphinxes into 2,000 points.
War Sphincter or Necrosphincter.
I'm assuming is going to be 1 character, 1 special, and then 2 Necrosphinxes as rare. Because the War Sphinx with the Tomb Guard crew is in the special section on the buying bit, whatever that's called.
Oh, right, okay. Advanced order section.
Yeah. And that's it for solid stuff. Everything else is just rumours.
Rumours, hearsay and lies, eh?
Yeah, and spam.
Yeah, and spam. Okay, so what do you think?
I like the new models.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like the new models. I like them a lot. I really like the Tomb Guard. I love the monsters. I think the snaky dudes, the Knights and the Stalkers, I'd do some work too.
Yeah.
I think, just to change them up a bit. But yeah.
Excellent. So, Tomb King Army Book Review, it's sort of mid-May, maybe.
Mid-May, yeah.
Maybe start of June. We'll get a top Tomb King player from around the UK on.
Well, it's all out on the first weekend of May.
The 7th, Saturday the 7th.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get someone on to come and chat to us about the new Tomb Kings when they're ready. Do a review, pretty sharpish when the book's out. Same as we did with the Orcs. And
should we tell him who we're going to get? Or should we tell him live on the air?
We'll go. We'll find out first if we can get the guy we want, and then we'll take it from there. So the guy who does come in and do it might be second choice, but he won't know.
No, that's fine. You won't know. It's okay.
No. We're going to look at getting Chris Taylor in. He's played Tomb Kings for a long time. He's a solid general with High Elves at the moment, but he's returning to his Tomb Kings with the new book coming out. So, yeah, looking to get Chris on. Okay, so there's been some other news, hasn't there?
Yeah, some Warhammer Forge news. The Dragon Toad Man is up for advanced order, and so's the wizard dude with the spawn that we saw at the open day. Yeah,
we talked about both of these on the last episode, didn't we? Saying we'd seen them, but didn't know when they was available. How much is the dragon?
120 quid.
It's awfully impressive, though.
It is massive, but it's 120 quid. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
A lot of money. And also, as well, I can't really see what you would use it as in regular Warhammer.
A dragon.
It's the base of it's massive.
Yeah,
the base of it's like A4.
Is it really that big?
Yeah. It's really, really big.
Okay.
I mean, at least the Great Demons, the Giant, stuff like that, you could use in regular Warhammer. Obviously, we're talking, regular Warhammer here, but
yeah,
obviously it says on the. I've not had a proper look, but it says there's experimental rules on the Forge World website. Whether they're coming when the book comes out or whether they're already on there, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, I'm not sure. We'll have to have a look and see if we can get them up on the forums on the Bad Dice section. So one more new release was the Storm of Magic.
Storm of Magic.
Okay, so what is this? I've been working away. I've not seen.
Well, just it's the incoming article got sent out with a couple of pictures on. It's a supplement. It says that there's going to be a raft of wizards, terrain, and monsters, and it's just going to be an expansion. I really don't know any more details than that.
There's been some pictures of some new models, hasn't there?
Yeah, there's a picture which is apparently a new dragon and a manticore.
Yeah, it's zoomed right in, but...
Yeah, right in on the faces.
Games Workshop in the Genius apparently had saved the pictures as one titled Manticore, one titled Dragon.
Yeah, apparently
so. Anyone right-click Save As on the website, it was saving the file with the title Manticore Dragon, so that was quite cool.
Maybe they planned it that way.
Yeah, maybe. Just a little Easter egg in there for those that can find it.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
that's out in June, by the way.
In June?
So
the
July,
Warhammer's coming
like
thick and fast.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. So it means in a month's time, maybe another incoming? I don't know. Hopefully.
Well, yeah. Will it be?
It's what it's been for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
We had an incoming after the weekend's release. First weekend in...
So it'll be this...
First weekend of the month is the release date, and then the following week, there's an incoming gone out. And it's all been Warhammer recently. There's not been much 40k, has
It's been Dark Eldar and Grey Knights, hasn't it? There was an incoming a while ago, wasn't there, for Dark Eldar? So I think Dark Eldar are...
Oh, getting even more, yeah.
Yeah, the next Tomb Kings will be out, and then
Dark Eldar, the new Skaven model every month.
Yeah.
So there's a new Skaven model as well, isn't there?
Yes,
the
there is.
Games Day figure's gone up.
Yes.
Another engineer stroke warlord.
Yes, with an apple on his head.
And you've got him, haven't you?
Yes.
On the way?
I've done a wheeler deal.
A wheelie deal?
A wheelie deal.
Excellent.
Got one of them winging its way to me now.
Good stuff. That'll be painted in about 3 seconds flat.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know what to use him as, though.
An engineer. Get more of him.
He might be a champion somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, Giselle unit maybe? No?
No, it wouldn't match the rest.
Yeah, but is he not pointing?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. No, he's got a halberd and a shield.
Oh, yeah, of course he has. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, we're going to go for a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be joined by Andrew Galea from Rankins HQ.
Yeah.
He's coming on to talk all about his trip to Adepticon and what Rankins HQ have got in the pipeline in the coming months. Hi guys, I just want to take a minute to tell you about an amazing new product from Battlefoam. It's the brand new Battlefoam Warhammer Fantasy trays. Battlefoam have recently released 40 of these trays, pre-cut to suit any of your fantasy army needs. If you have a huge monster, an amazing character, or a wild conversion, you can also design your own tray using the Battlefoam Custom Tray Creator. You can get a unique custom tray to suit your unique custom army. Battlefoam also make a revolutionary range of bags called the Pack System. These bags are designed to carry your army in total safety no matter how big or small. There'll be a bag designed for exactly what you want. No matter what it is you need transporting, you can find the foam and bag to do it at battlefoam.com. Unseen Lurker is a new, exciting gaming magazine covering gaming, tactics, hobby, modelling, reviews, interviews, and even the occasional zebra. Each issue has a quarter of the magazine available for download so you can try before you buy. It's the first independent global magazine encompassing articles from generals and hobbyists all over the world. Every issue of Unseen Lurker, that's Lurker with an E, is packed with giveaways such as custom dice, t-shirts, as well as the Game of the Month as reviewed by our Unseen Lurker test dummies. For more information, check out unseenlurker.com. Okay, so we're joined by a special guest, Andrew Galea from Rankins HQ. How you doing, mate?
Hello, good. Good to be here.
Good
to
stuff.
have you on, mate.
So, back fresh from Adepticon. It's actually, about 10 days since Adepticon now, isn't it? So you've been back a while. You're going to come and talk to us all about what you saw at the show, what's going on there, and what you've got coming from Rankins HQ from your coverage of Adepticon and obviously Rankins HQ in the future. So, did you have a good time going out there then, mate?
Yeah, it was excellent. So I got back last Monday, so yeah, it's been about 9 days. Went there last year as well, so it was good to go back because this year I sort of knew more people before I got there. And this year I had a more exciting time because last time I sort of, Rankins HQ had just launched and we launched the Flames of War ranking. And that's why I went out there. But this year, RHQ TV is in full swing, so I was there to record for that and had heaps of big interviews lined up. And yeah, it was excellent time. It's a great convention to go to.
Did you get all your interviews lined up beforehand, or did you sort of do anything sort of shoot style?
Yeah, we spent a couple of months organising that. Because it's video, we actually had to send a lot of the questions beforehand, almost all of them, to get vetted.
Okay.
Particularly for the Black Library ones and the Privateer Press ones.
Yeah.
Then with the painters, because a lot of the painters are really good artists, and they're not, a lot of them are pretty humble about what they're doing. So just out of courtesy, we sent them beforehand and gave them, asked them, told them what we're going to ask, and they brought some miniatures. The painting ones were so good. We had Todd Swanson, Jakob Rune Nelson, Jen Haley. And Zach Lanier, and I don't know, they've got so many Slayer swords between them. And Todd bought 3 of his Slayer sword winning entries with him. We had them in front of us while we were interviewing him. So
wicked.
There was miniatures that I noticed from White Dwarf years ago. I know Todd Swanson won a Slayer sword with the troll, Neck Snapper or something it was called. It was a stone troll that he modified heaps. And as you know, I love orcs and goblins and trolls and stuff, and that was such a great... we spent so much time looking at the miniatures. It was excellent.
Okay, so before we get too far into in the miniature side of it, just for the listeners who probably don't know, particularly the UK listeners, why was there so many painters, certainly top painters, gathered at Adepticon this year?
Well, Cool Mini or Not, I guess everyone's heard of that website, put up started a new competition called the Crystal Brush, and they put up $10,000 first prize, and it was $2,000 for second and $1,000 for third. So it was $13,000 US in prize money, and it was basically an open painting competition. The feeling we've since before Adepticon and since then we've actually got to know the Cool Mini guys a lot, and we're actually working together with them on a few things now. And they the idea behind it was, like Golden Demon and Slayer Sword, the competition is a fantastic competition, but it's just GW miniatures, obviously. So the ability to have a big competition that's open to any miniature out there in the world was a big attraction, I guess, and they attracted a lot of good painters.
Yeah, and I'm sure the prize fund as well goes somewhere to attracting a lot of people. What are your thoughts on that? With a big painting competition in what's essentially a hobby with a big cash prize.
I mean, I personally think it's fine. I mean, obviously, I do a lot of commercial things in the hobby with RHQ TV and Rankings HQ, and I mean, it's just a natural progression. It is a hobby, but it's a big hobby, and GW is a multi-million-dollar company now that is on the stock exchange, and it is a business side to it. There was a lot of discussion about it, and I interviewed all the painters and asked their opinion. I mean, they're all artists, and as anyone who knows who's painted miniatures, even professionally or just on the side for someone else, your hourly rate for painting miniatures is not great. And like any artist, I guess they're always struggling to sort of get the money they deserve for what they do. And yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, the competition, Mike McVeigh was the head judge.
Yeah.
And Mike McVeigh got to do 50% of the voting, as far as I understand, and the other 50% was online voting through Cool Mini or not.
Okay, yeah, so that was going to be my next question, because I saw all this online voting, but I wasn't sure how they judged it at the event. So was it Mike McVeigh himself doing the voting, or was it like a panel?
No, my understanding was 50% of the weighting for any miniature came from the online votes, and they did that where you had to register, and once you voted once, you can only do it once. They had a lot of tracking to make sure there wasn't a crazy amount of people from the same IP registering, and to sort of get some consistency in the votes.
How did they choose? Because obviously they couldn't have put every miniature online for people to vote at.
They actually did.
Really?
Yeah. So what happened was the voting. So the miniatures all turned up on the Friday of the weekend. Everyone put them in. They had a full photography setup, take photos of all the miniatures, uploaded them, and the voting didn't open until the Sunday. This is all my understanding. I wasn't completely, but it opened for a certain number of hours on the Sunday, maybe midnight Saturday. I'm not sure. And then when you went on the website, you could just cycle through the miniatures, or you could pick. They're all divided in their categories. So you had fantasy, miniature, single, sort of stuff. So yeah, you didn't have to vote. You did not have to vote on them all, but you can only vote on each miniature once. And they had over 40,000 votes.
How many entries did they have?
I'm hazarding a guess. I would say there would have been 50 to 60.
Oh right, okay. So it wasn't like a Golden Demon where there's thousands then.
Well, the thing is, there would have been more than that. They vetted them before they went to the voting.
Right. Okay. Now I understand. Right. That's what I asked earlier.
If I took my miniature along, so my miniatures wouldn't have made the voting, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought surely they couldn't put every figure entered. Online. The amount of work involved in that would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the top end was top-notch quality, but I mean, there were miniatures there that were, decent sort of tabletop standard, but people still put them in, just like any competition. It was just good to sort of be involved. But not all those miniatures made it to the actual voting.
It sounds absolutely unreal. I mean, we've all been to games days around the world, and we've all seen how it is there, but for this sort of quality with Games Day, when you go and view all the figures, they lay them out in the cabinets. It is as bad as it sounds. It is sort of trudging through all the chaff to find the good bits, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. But the last games I went to, they did a sort of selection process, and there's sort of cabinets at one end with the better ones that are up for placings and swords, and then the rest are in other cabinets. Because again, putting you get 1,000 entries. You've got to photograph them all and put them all online. Colossal amount of work.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and I think the money. Obviously, the money was a big part of it, but there was something like 30 awards given out for all the different categories. And only the top 3 overall got any money. So it was a normal painting competition in its right. And obviously, everyone who won anything was really excited. But when it came to the top 3, that was pretty exciting. So you had Banshee from Alfonso from Spain, who's really well known in Europe and he's a professional painter. Jacob Brunelson, and Marika. Sorry, got her
And
name wrong.
funnily enough, the McVeigh miniature won.
Yeah, that actually came up because there's a few McVeigh minutes from the McVeigh studio, and you know, I don't want to discredit him at all. He was obviously did a very tough job, and there was absolutely no arguments with the top three. And one of them was a GW one. I'm pretty sure Afonso's was a heavily converted Giant. Jakob's was it was a white. I'd recommend people go on Cool Mini and have a look at the miniatures. The top three were spectacular.
Yeah.
Well, we'll post a link up to this in our show notes, and you can check them all out on the Bad Dice forums as well.
Is she saying that about the McVeigh miniature with McVeigh voting and a cash prize? I don't know how I feel about the cash prize.
I kind of like it. It sort of takes it to another level.
It does. It takes it to a whole other level. But then you're open again to like what we've just said there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't seen too much. I haven't seen much any at all really negativity about it. I mean, I guess people always say, because it's the first time it's sort of happened.
Yeah.
But like I think, as you know, like what they're doing next year, they're doing it again. They're now offering, like, I'm going to Salute this Saturday of RHQ TV in London, and Salute has got a painting competition, and Cool Mini are offering the winner of that the airfare to go to Adepticon next year and enter the Crystal Brush.
All right.
And they're doing the same thing for OzCon, which is the Australian convention. The winner of that painting competition is going to get an airline ticket to go to Chicago. So, I don't know, they're pretty serious, and they're putting some money behind it.
Yeah.
I think as long as it's above board and looks like everything was, they've got public voting, I don't know, I think it's only good. And I was really happy that Afonso got third Banshee, because, you know, I think getting more and more European painters across would be great.
How did they judge the top three? Was it similar to the Slayer Sword? Was it all the winners out of the categories?
Yeah, so, they had all the winners of all the categories first.
Yeah.
And then they just announced the top three that had the most votes and Mike voted for. And
right.
I mean, I have to say, man, the excitement in so there would have been hundreds. I wouldn't, I'd hazard a guess and say 600 or 700 people in the auditorium.
Right.
When they announced the top three. The excitement at that time was really good. Like, it was buzzing, that sort of money and that sort of excitement.
What sort of impact did the painting competition have on the event as a whole? Because obviously you were there last year and you're there again this year.
I thought it was a really positive addition to it. For people who don't know, it's like Adepticon is mainly a tournament convention, unlike a Gen Con or a lot of the others where you have a lot of stalls and different things like that. Gen Con probably has about a dozen vendors only, compared to 100 going to Salute this weekend, for example.
Yeah.
And it's mainly about the tournaments. They have big 40K fantasy, Flames of War and War Machine stuff. The other thing that came with the Crystal Brush that was not many people would have thought of, all these painters did classes at night.
Oh, right.
So you could go to a Jen Haley class. She did freehand classes, and Todd Swanson did classes on, shading and techniques and stuff. So it gave a whole new twist to it. And I think with our hobby, there's always two sort of big areas. There's the hobbyists and the gamers, you know what I mean? And Adepticon had a really good mix. I thought that there was something for everyone. And it was, because I'm across sort of both, and I was a bit inspired because obviously I've been trying to paint better in the last 18 months, and I'm gonna enter a golden dam. I'm just gonna have a crack and put something in just for fun in one of the obscure categories. So.
We've been talking about this for years.
Lord of the Rings Regiment.
Yeah, we reckon Lord of the Rings Regiment's the one to go for.
So I think, I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoyed the painting side as well, like I said.
You mentioned that the painters put classes on. How were they done? Were they like free to come and watch, or did you have to sign up and pay?
And did you attend any?
Well, yeah, was it 1-to-1 or?
Yeah, no. So the painting classes were classes of about 10 people,
right?
And you had to register and buy tickets beforehand. You could buy them when you were there.
Right.
They weren't overly expensive, from memory, like $15 and stuff like that. But you had to. But I mean, we sat in, and I didn't partake in the class, but we sat in because we interviewed some of the painters, and just amazing. Like Todd Swanson's, for example, had he had this miniature he cast himself. He copied the miniature's legs down, had 4 wooden plinths with each stage of the shading painted on it, and he gave a set of that to each person in his class. And so they had this miniature they were painting, trying to copy his 4 stages. They really well received, really well run. I mean, because the people who do them were all professional painters in the crystal brush, and there's another way for them to get some more money. And I thought it was really good.
Okay.
Excellent. Sounds awesome. Okay, so moving away from the painting side of things, and you said there's it's been renowned as a big tournament event, Adepticon. As I know, the 40k teams event last year was 400 odd players. So what did you see this year on the teams event sides of things? Was it equally as big or bigger even?
Yeah, it was the same. We've had 100 and something teams again, of four players in each team. So we've actually on Adepticon's website. RHQTV's released 3 videos of the 3 days, just random stuff and interviews, and a lot of that is in the 40k room because that was obviously the main room. So if you go on adepticon.org, you can see those links. Our videos are on the front there. So mate, it wasn't just the fact there was 400 and something players. They all had matching gear, big. I'm talking. So it was 4 armies together, right? So their dioramas were absolutely huge. I'm talking all out,
Dioramas.
You see some of them in the videos of what they do, and like there was guys playing, they're playing Space Wolves, for instance, and then they'd have a whole Tyranid army on their diorama they didn't play with. It was just there to make the diorama look cool, and heaps of them had the equivalent Black Library book on their diorama where they got the fluff from for their armies. It was just...
How do you mean diorama?
So like a display board where they lay out...
Display boards.
Oh,
sorry.
right. Sorry,
yeah,
I've got you.
And when I say display boards, I mean castles, full castles of things. And,
yeah, okay.
The whole hog. I mean, not everyone did that, but, everyone got into the spirit. It's really got... I mean, Adepticon's has been going for 9 years. 10 years is the anniversary next year. And so it was born from this tournament. So it's a tournament convention and it's really good. I mean, mind you, there was 140 players playing fantasy, which was one of the side rooms, but it's still a big event.
Tucked away. I was going to my next question. Did you see as much of the display boards and all that sort of thing in Warhammer as well, or does that only really make it to the 40k side?
Yeah, that sort of atmosphere was probably just limited to the 40k. I mean, fantasy just had a lot of nice armies. Everything's painted. There's none of that, no painted stuff. Like, it's a good. I think the scene's pretty healthy over there. Obviously, I mean, it's a big country, and Chicago's. I mean, whilst the scenes in the US, it's pretty split between the east and west coast because there's so many things going on. You don't need to travel as much as you do in England or in Australia. So, but really good atmosphere. They've got their stuff together. I think it's a really fun scene, and even the Privateer Press. So this is Privateer Press's first year. They've really had a big presence at Adepticon, and they gave the first 1,000 ticket holders. The first 1,000 ticket holders got a starter box.
Yeah, I heard this. This is just crazy. Just the amount of money that pumped into that.
What's this? Boggles. A 35 quid box set?
Yeah, £35.
£35, $50.
Yeah,
and they gave 1,000 of them away. That's their retail price. But I mean, that was kept. That the base pace was buzzing. I mean, and what a thing to do. I mean,
and no one knew this until you pounded through the door.
Sorry?
Well, yeah, I kept seeing people on Twitter saying that they've got such and such a faction. They're going to try and find someone to swap it with.
Yeah,
because it wasn't the one they played.
I imagine they've spawned a whole new bunch of players.
Oh yeah.
But what they also had, right? They had these Privateer Press have like a little 2-foot by 2-foot starter display table that they have in one of their stores. They had like a dozen of them, and so then the people who got given the kits, they had stations where you could put the kits together, and they'll do intro games, and they were handing out the Mark II rule books left, right, and centre. They went the whole hog. I mean, I tell you. Battlefront and Privateer Press are well known for doing this stuff a lot, and they didn't disappoint. It was excellent, and good luck to them. And I'm assuming they'll have at least players dabbling in their army, their game.
So, what other vendors were there? I'm assuming Games Workshop wasn't, but Forge World were there, weren't they?
Well, the Forge World stall. I mentioned the vendors before. Forge World had a line, and we interviewed people in the line in one of the videos. It would have been 150 strong for about 4 or 5 hours straight.
Mate, we went to the Forge World Open Day at Warhammer World, which is the same weekend.
Yeah.
We had the same thing. You've been to Warhammer World, haven't you?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it was the queue was 3 sides of Warhammer World. Do you know what I mean? Probably about
Forge World. I don't know. They stand apart at the moment. I mean, they brought out a special 40k, as you would, right? You go into Adepticon. There was some limited edition 40k dude they brought out.
Yeah.
And,
Might have bought 2 of them. Might have sold 2 of them on eBay already.
well, you know how when you see in the US the Cabbage Patch dolls and the mums are fighting and screaming and pulling each other's hair out? This was going on in the Forge World line. Like they had 2 lines, right? So these dudes got there, 4 days earlier, and then they found out after half an hour they're in the wrong line and had to go to the back of the official line. Oh my goodness. So we walked up not knowing, with our camera gear going, let's do some interviews, these guys will be pumping. We started near the front of that line where they got pushed back, and they were just
fuming.
I couldn't use the footage. It was... So we made our way to the front of the line and interviewed people there, and they're much happier.
Yeah, I bet they were. They were happy laughing at the idiots at the back.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, Forge World were there, and you had, Battlefront and Gale Force 9 had a really big stand there. Mantic Games.
So back to
the big one was,
sorry, back to Battlefront. So not so much Battlefront, but Gale Force 9 are bringing out some new terrain, aren't they? Did they have that on show there?
Yes, we've actually. Well, I'm glad you asked. We got our hands on the new.
Okay, so just for listeners, that wasn't a loaded question. I didn't.
No, but I'm so glad you asked that. You're a good man.
It's not in the show notes or
High Elf
anything.
Tower, and we're bringing out a unboxing of the new High Elf Tower. It's unreal, fully painted in the box. It looks unbelievable. So we're about to. That video should come out in the next week as well. So yeah, they had a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, pictures of them have been online for a while. I've been trying to get my hands on one. I'll send John Matthews an email every now and again and say, they're out yet? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on one, and they look great.
That range of Battlefield in a box has really come on leaps and bounds. They've got some good stuff now.
Do they come painted?
It'd save you borrowing my terrain.
Yeah.
And fully painted, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Looking forward to seeing them. So you're saying Mantic Games were there, as Ronnie gets everywhere, it seems. Battle Foam.
Battle Foam, Romeo was there with his... So he starts the weekend with would have been 8-foot high foam trays all around his stall, and by the end of the weekend, most things are sold out. So it was like he was there. Cool Mini had a massive stand. They had big cabinets of miniatures, and it was really good. I think that part of Adepticon compared to last year was much better than the progress from one year to the next was huge. And Hank and Matt, the two of the main organisers, they've done a fantastic job, and I guess they slugged away for years where it was a smaller convention, and they're starting to reap some of their rewards now. But mate, if anyone wants to go to a convention, if you're a gamer and you want to go, that's the one. It's really good for gaming, and now it's good for painting as well. So it's good.
If you were going to go, and do you know what I mean? Do you think would you be able to sort of experience it all and play, or would you have to do one or the other?
I think you can. The beauty of it is, right, the 40k Teams event, a lot of the events are one-dayers. Even fantasy, like there was a Teams event on Friday night, then a single event on Saturday, and then there's so you could just play, like I've gone this year, after last year I vowed to go there and play this year because I was recording real flat out and I did nothing. Yeah. I think definitely you could. I'd recommend you can go and play, a night and a day worth of gaming, then catch on the second night you might do a sit on a session with one of the painters, and Sunday I think you can, because they do that on purpose. I mean, so Privateer Press and Notorious, they always get the one room where it doesn't have to close, so they have midnight events where midnight hardcore, and so it's really, because everyone's staying in there. It's okay, from my experience going to conventions, not in the US, in Australia, or like you go there and you go home, right? At this place, it's a massive international hotel, hundreds of rooms. There's literally 1,000 people staying in the hotel, and the convention's downstairs. So if you're in your room and you can't sleep and it's 9 o'clock, you just go downstairs and there'll be people playing games and things going on. It's just awesome.
So give us an idea of sort of the layout of the event. So you come down your grand staircase from your room upstairs into the reception. And what is it?
So
tucked away in a ballroom.
So there's a big lift area, obviously the lift foyer, and the foyer of the hotel is like any hotel. Then you've got all these rooms coming off it. Now the main ballroom, whatever you call it, is where the vendors are and the 40k stuff's held. So unless you're playing 40k, slightly second-class citizen because you're not in the main hall.
Okay.
But the other halls are all really nice halls. We're talking good terrain everywhere, tables, big rooms. Yeah. I mean, there's a Blood Bowl room. We've got footage in the Blood Bowl room. There's a Malifaux. Whatever you play, there's people playing it. It was really good.
It sounds awesome, mate.
Yeah.
So just a couple more questions. What I've noticed this year more than any year before is obviously yourselves were there doing your coverage. I saw a lot of coverage coming out of the players as well, with Twitter, with Ustream, all that sort of thing. Did you get a feel for that, of sort of like, I don't know, more than just the players at the event, like more of a community? Or did you not realise there was so much going online until you got home and had a chance to look at it? Were people
it's hard to miss when you're there because, okay, I mean, we had a lot of camera gear and, all this sort of hoo-ha, but there's people walking around with handhelds and phones filming all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and cameras, it's just everywhere. Like, it's so independent characters, they had you streaming some of the games live. Independent characters did podcast in the US. So, they were there. I saw the Beast of War guys there. They had I don't know what they were filming something there. And, Bell of Lost Souls, they're all there. Because we are one of those sort of media sort of guys there just filming it, we noticed it more as well, I guess, because that's what we were doing. But, and I think the convention organisers are getting more savvy as well. But, I mean, Hank's been great for us. I mean, we obviously did a big commitment, spent a lot of money to take all our gear there, flew Gavin from Australia. We had a dedicated room where we had our studio set up the whole weekend, and that's where we did the Dan Abnett interviews and Nathan Long. And, I mean, they're treating the more facilities for the media, in inverted commas, guys, because it helps support the convention and it helps promote the hobby.
I noticed that the 40k radio guys and Podhammer had the same, didn't they? Had a little room somewhere to set up and bring people into.
That's right. Yeah, they had what's called a podcast media room, and that's where they were set up, and we were in a room next to them. I have to say, it is good. I think the players enjoy it more. The artists we interviewed were really happy with getting interviewed. I mean, even Dan Abnett, because we had a full setup with full lighting and, everything was professional. He had all these questions. And he said, it's a bit of a breath of fresh air to be interviewed. I think the bar's being raised, not just by us, by lots of people who are doing this sort of thing. And I think it's only good. And, I mean, you're always going to get people who think, oh, it's a hobby, they're going nuts, it's crazy. But, I don't know. If people want to see it and want to know about it, why not broadcast it?
Oh,
and that's what you guys are about as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love to see, especially events like that. I couldn't get myself this year, so it was brilliant following some of the guys who were tweeting it, yourselves, and broadcasting from the event. So I went to bed on a Saturday night, and before I went to sleep, watched your video from day one of Adepticon, which was already online on the Saturday night of the event.
That's something we're really trying to work on. I mean, the one problem with what we do is we do everything in full HD, and it takes hours to upload. But we're definitely going to do better at that as well. That's one of the things. We've got ETC in Switzerland, the European Team Championship coming up. We're definitely going to do video. I mean, the whole kit's going there, but we want to broadcast during the weekend as well, video.
Are you bringing Gav to Switzerland?
Sorry?
Are you bringing Gav to Switzerland?
Yeah, Gav's coming. We're going to have the full setup. We're going to have the full studio set up as well for ETC, and of course the miniature expo is there as well. This year. It's in the same place. I mean, we're going to go a day or two earlier and get a lot of that footage as well as the ETC proper, but we can't wait. And Johnson, you're a freelancer for us, I think, aren't you? You're going to be you're not playing, are you?
I'm not playing, no, I'm refereeing.
You're refereeing.
Head ref.
Don't know about head
so
ref,
we're going to be there in
ref.
full force, and our only job is to report and record. And we're also going to Gen Con, it looks like, in San Diego as well, which is going to be busy August. We're trying to go to San Diego and go to Switzerland, but that's the plan at this point.
Nice. Okay, so what can the viewers expect coming out of Rankings HQ post Adepticon then? What videos did you get and what sort of footage have you got to put up?
So at the moment, all we've released is the three shortish 10 minutes or so of the 3 days. That's on Adepticon at the moment. So we've got a massive 8-week schedule of things coming out. The ones that are coming out this week, we've got the Dan Abnett interview, which is going to be fantastic. We've got a really lot of footage with Dan. and we've got the Crystal Brush Award ceremony. We're doing that in conjunction with Coolmini, where Coolmini and I, who also did some footage and stuff, so we combine it together, do the best sort of production we can of the award ceremony. That should come out this week, and then we've got, over the next few weeks, we've got interview with three of the Privateer Press staff members that were there, 4 of the painters. The Adepticon, the Crystal Brush Award ceremony, we've interviewed all 3 winners straight after when they got the prizes.
So they're all giddy.
They were pretty full-on interviews, and they're well worth watching.
All giddy, holding a big wedge of cash.
Did they have a big check?
Sorry?
Did they have a big check, like you said?
Yeah. All 3 of them got massive checks.
Oh, wicked.
1,000, 2,000 and 10,000. It was all... they were all fairly overwhelmed, as you can imagine. I mean, to win that sort of money for painting a miniature, but...
Even winning just 1,000 for the 3rd place, it's still a massive... I bet, you know what I mean? There's never been well, as far as I know, there's not been a cash prize on a painting competition of anything near that.
No, well, Banshee, he won 3rd prize, and he goes, well, it's paid for his trip, his air flight over there, and like I said, I think after this year, I think it's going to be absolutely massive.
So how long before we see 100,000 for the 1st place?
I don't know, but we're already talking and working with Coolmini or not now. We're already preparing for what we want to do next year, because we really want the coverage is going to be top notch, and we're going to really try to go overboard. I mean, that's very exciting, that competition, I think.
Yeah,
I suppose it's one way to get the best painters competing together, isn't it? Offering that sort of money. I mean,
well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, so the painters had a dinner on a Saturday night, right? It wasn't all of them. This was a collection of them. There was 15 Slayer Sword equivalent. The people on the table won 15 Slayer Swords between them from all over the world. It was just mind-boggling.
Did they all bring them with them?
The painting talent that was on display.
Yeah, it did sound pretty good. Okay, so what have you guys got in the pipeline in the future then? You've already talked about your shows and things like that. You go in, but what about away from the expos and things like that? What can we expect from Rankins HQ?
Right. Well, we're I don't know. We've got a lot of stuff happening. I guess at the moment the RHQ TV is taking a lot of our time as we try to build it up. But we've got, we haven't done a battle report yet, like a proper one. I want to do a battle report like a sports TV show. So I'm in the process of arranging people, getting people so I could go there with all the gear, and we're going to have several cameras. I mean, that's something that it's still part of the TV show, but it's something that I think a lot of gamers want to see. Yeah. We're actually talking to the Vassal people. I mean, I'm not sure if you know, Vassal's an online sort of way of playing 40k and Warhammer and War Machine, and we're looking at doing Vassal League and stuff like that.
So you're doing a bit of a Vassal League at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, we're just sort of trialling. I mean, it's just a league we're running where we post all the results on the site, but the thoughts are we're going to do it more automated and have a bit more of, a bit more of a tables and stuff so people can run their own leagues.
And how are you getting on in your own league that you're running?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you asked, because I got some of the best players from around the world to play, and I've actually won the league with 1 round to go.
Oh,
so the best players in the world includes Trent Dennison, yeah?
Well, you just can't leave Trent out of those things. You'll cry. So it's like, we had to get him in. So, yeah, it's all right, 4 best players and Trent.
Okay, so what are you planning on doing with Vassal? Or is it just the odd idea here and there?
We had some initial discussions where if you finish a Vassal game, you can post the results straight into RHQ. And we might have some sort of leaderboard where, we can do leagues or competitions where the Vassal games actually tie in completely with what we're doing. So we've had some initial discussions with them. And Rankins HQ has grown so much now, and people put their own personal games, and it's the gaming diary and just the record of your tournament games is what people like, as well as the actual rankings.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to sort of become more of a place where you can just record any games you play, including Vassal games, and just trying to expand. It's a place where you can just keep track of all the games you played against different people.
Okay, sounds good. Now you're talking about the players coming and using Vassal, using Rankins HQ for other things than tournaments. One of the big things I've noticed is the blogs. Now, tell us a bit about this, because it's getting quite popular now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is what we're currently working on at the moment. So at the moment, we've released this blog functionality, and it sort of took off. So we've got a lot of bloggers on there, and you can subscribe to a blog as a player, and your homepage will change to show. So when you go to your homepage, when you log onto the website, any people you subscribe to, their blogs will appear on your homepage. It's like custom. It's a custom thing.
Okay.
So it's got so big now that, and we've got people writing articles. We're now going to open. We're about to launch what's called the RHQ Tavern. So when you go there, it's going to bring together everything. So you can see what people are blogging, what articles are being written, what latest tournament results they've gone up, whenever a new RHQ video goes up. So if you go to the Tavern room for Warhammer Fantasy, you'll see all the Warhammer Fantasy related things, which is blogs, posts, articles, videos, everything.
Sounds great.
And you can subscribe to different people. We're also going to have premium article writers as well. So we're going to have people who write just for us. Those will appear as articles in those rooms, and they'll be well-known people in each of the different game systems around the world. So we're just trying to ramp it up a bit and have a bit more content, and just not like a forum where it's, there's forums everywhere. It's a bit more specific and targeted stuff, and it'll be a collection of videos and all this sort of stuff. That's what we're doing at the moment.
More
but the blogs
content than a
have been
forum,
really
I imagine.
popular, and we're getting new blogs all the time, which is great.
Excellent. Sounds great, mate. So is there anything else you want to add about Rankings HQ? Anything?
No, just I think just check it out. Check out the videos, RHQ TV. The URL rhq.tv is now live as well.
Okay, that's good. Whose idea was that?
Sorry?
That's a good URL. Whose idea was that?
All right. First person who brought it up was Ben Curry from the Bad Dice Podcast. But
Really? You're going to take credit for that?
TV. I've got it registered and it points to the website, so we're going to be launching that URL will become its own sort of thing soon.
Excellent. Is there going to be like a separate site for the videos, or is it all going to stay as one? Or
we definitely want to blend it together, but I think if you do rhq.tv with the landing page, we want to have so we've got Sean Morris from Canada does footage for us in the Terrain Studio segment. Jason Flanz is from the US, from Phoenix. He's going to be doing Privateer Press Gaming video for us. We're going to be bringing on more and more specialist presenters. And
okay, that Jason
we want to have a section where you can look at the presenters, what they're bringing out, what they're doing, what their specialty is, things like that.
Okay, and Jason's the guy from Iron Agenda, wasn't he?
Just right. Jason Flanzer used to be on Iron Agenda. He's going to be exclusively doing videos for us starting this coming week, I think, first episode.
So it's people who have been sort of in the sort of like hobby industry, so to speak, for a while, and it's pretty good, well-respected guys getting on board. That's good news.
That's right. I mean, we've also got a relationship with Privateer Press officially now. We're getting almost all the stuff early. So Jason Flanz will be able to open things up before they're available. We'll get sneak peek at stuff, and so for Privateer Press followers, that's going to be a very, very good segment. And we're trying to get the same for Fantasy and same for 40K as well. So that's what the plan is. And I think rhq.tv will let you go there. You can see the presenters, where they're from, what they do, and things like that.
Excellent. Sounds great. Okay, so moving away from the website, how about yourself? What have you been up to sort of in gaming recently? Have you picked up the new art book yet?
Yeah, no. So my hiatus from Fantasy continues. No, for no reason other than I just, as you know, after ETC last year, wanted a bit of a break. I'm still really enjoying playing War Machine. I've got a couple of tournaments lined up. I'm going to Scrap Metal 3 at Maelstrom end of the month, and playing in the European Team Challenge, which is a team event for Privateer Press. And Ben, you're dabbling in that one perhaps, Ben Curry?
Yeah, so I've bought a ticket tonight. I'll be playing in the... What's your team name called? Team Rage Quit.
You're going to get stoned.
I don't want to stir up the big fella next to you because, he
gets angry, doesn't he?
He'll start throwing punches. But
I'm
really... I mean, I say I'm playing War Machine at the moment, but I'm really looking forward to the European Team Championship in Switzerland. I can't wait to see what's going on there. And, I covered... I think... I can see myself getting the Orcs off at some stage, but I just haven't really had time to do much more at the moment.
Have you read the book?
You know what? No.
Oh, guns.
I know, it's criminal. I know.
Mate,
I know.
You need to come to a Warhammer event with us before you go back home.
Yeah, I've got the Fell Orcs here because I had them last year, and I keep saying that, but I definitely want to play a tournament. I'll come up to your way and something small, so it's not, I might win a game.
When you're going home?
Doesn't know.
That's up in the air at the moment. Yeah,
right.
we my wife and I plan to stay here for 18 months, which was till about September. But we're just, we're sort of enjoying ourselves here, and RHQ TV is going really good, and it's being so close to the States really helps as well. And
Yeah.
so at this point, we're just, playing it by ear. We've got no flight booked in like that. So yeah, I don't know.
If you're still here in December, come to Derby.
I think if we stayed a bit longer, we might move out of London, move near Nottingham. With the gaming capital of the world.
Silicon Valley of Warhammer.
Yeah.
Of Wargaming, sorry.
So yeah, I think that's at the moment it's up in the air, and we're really enjoying ourselves. So that's fine.
Good.
Okay, so you're not playing Warhammer. Are you doing much painting, modelling? You're painting your War Machine stuff, I take it. Are you getting much of that done, or?
Yeah, I have been. I really enjoy my painting since I got here. I think I've improved a lot and yeah, I'm doing my Signar stuff at the moment. I think I am serious about entering Golden Demon, and because I love orcs, I'm probably going to do an orc unit.
Nice.
Is what I'm planning on doing. So I think that's if we're going to enter it and it's GW, I definitely want to do orcs. They're my favourite ones. So I might get some of the new Savage Orc plastics or something and do something like that. I'm not sure. That's on the cards as well.
Yeah, just an idea at the moment. So you say you've improved a lot since you've been here over the last sort of year. Is there anything you particularly learned? Any tips or tricks you can share with the listeners?
Yeah, the biggest thing I learned, and I actually learned a lot interviewing these painters and preparing for it, it's a term called wet blending, right? I don't know, I sort of, get my paint out. I don't paint out of the pot, or sometimes I still do, mind you, but that's supposed to be criminal. But, I have a palette, but I didn't realise how watered down they make their paints and how many coats they put on. So they slowly build up the colour.
Oh, yeah.
And then they've got a merging between two colours, I'll wet blend them, have a really wet palette. And that, for me, I know it might sound, for people who are good painters, it might sound really obvious, but that for me is something I never really had done before. So that immediately improved my painting once I got the hang of it. And being able to do highlights where you do a lot of thin coats,
Yeah.
it really helped my painting. I've also got into my basing a lot more. Silflor, I don't know, Silflor is a product that's been around for ages, and it's a German company, I think, and they do like tall grasses and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, there's like the static grass, but in clumps rather than
Yeah.
loose.
You get late autumn, early spring, all these, and I've got a lot of that sort of stuff, and really been enjoying. My bases are heaps better than they used to be, and it just makes the model look a lot better.
Bases, faces, shields, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Saying
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. So no, that's been my Signar stuff compared just the same army. Obviously, it's a big army. I've been painting it for a year, but from the starting models to what I do now is remarkable. And once you get over that initial where you feel like you're making progress, like anything, you get into it more. And when I was interviewing the painters, I was really paying attention to what they were doing and asking questions. And so I think wet blending, watered down paint and thin coats is what I've learnt the most.
Excellent. Sounds good. So on that note, I think we're going to love you and leave you. So
Yeah.
anything else you want to add before you disappear?
No, dude, it's just good to be on here again, and I'll hopefully catch up with you guys in person soon.
Yeah.
Hope so, buddy.
Hope so. Thanks a lot for talking to us, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers,
See ya.
guns.
Thanks, boys.
RHQ TV, a videocast dedicated to gaming enthusiasts. Catch the latest tabletop gaming products, get painting and modelling tips from industry experts, watch interviews with leading industry personalities, and in full high-definition video. RHQ TV is for you. More than 100 minutes of high-definition video every month. News, interviews, tournament reports, and product reviews. Warhammer 40k and Fantasy, Flames of War, War Machine, and Hordes, and more.
www.rankingshq.com. RHQ TV. Game on.
Okay, so that was Andrew from Rankins HQ. Thoroughly nice chap, as usual.
Nice to hear from again, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we've got another special guest on. So it's Brad Schwant, and he was actually on. He was on Rankins HQ himself, wasn't you? Over on at Adepticon, you met up with Andrew and the guys.
Yep. I met them at the Saturday event, the Warhammer Championships.
Excellent. So, how you doing then, mate? Welcome to the show. It's good to have you on.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here. I'm a big fan of you guys.
Oh, excellent. So we crossed paths via Twitter, didn't we? So you were sort of the main Twitter feed coming out of Adepticon. All the stuff over in the run-up to Adepticon and over the weekend, I was trying to search for the hashtag Adepticon and trying to get all the players who were going there and would be tweeting to post up more stuff. And just you were sort of posted the whole event.
You were the man.
I was living vicariously through your Twitter stream.
Yeah, it's become kind of an addiction for me that I post my hobby stuff and my tournament events on there, and it just seemed natural to post up everything I was doing at Adepticon. I was glad everybody got to take a look.
Is Twitter big in America?
in the hobby scene more.
Yeah.
I definitely would say it was. Not so much in the gaming community that I've seen, which surprises me, but I think after the way Adepticon went this year and however many people posted on it, it'll pick up even more.
Yeah.
So before we get into Adepticon, then just give us a bit of a rundown of yourself. What's sort of like what you play? Is it just Warhammer 40k? What your gaming community's like, and how you got into the hobby, that sort of thing.
Well, I got into the hobby with the Lizardmen and Bretonnian box sets. I think 5th edition.
5th edition.
5th edition.
Yeah.
I hadn't played a while since, and then I started playing again a couple years ago when actually the new Skaven book, the 7th edition book, came out.
Oh, the good one.
Yeah, the good one. So I've been playing Skaven ever since in our local league called the Great Lakes Warhammer League. It's all of Michigan, the state that I live in here in the States. And it's 6 games throughout the league with a end of the season tournament, and it's about 81 players.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's quite a big league that one is. I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah, Brian Focarelli, Michigan Warhammer Players on Warhammer.org is the organizer of the whole thing, and I play with him at our local store, so I get a lot of insight into the game and tips from him. He's a big help.
By local store, is this an independent store or GW?
It is an independent store.
Okay.
Okay,
Called
and
Pandemonium Game Store.
so have you been doing tournaments a lot, or just recently, or?
Hello? Man down.
Yeah, I think so.
There, is that better?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's dropped out.
I don't know if that's on my end or on your end.
I'm not sure. We'll persevere. It'll be fine. So I was
Okay.
asking, have you done a lot of tournaments? Is it something you've only done recently, or have you been doing tournaments for a while?
I like to play in a lot of tournaments locally. It's not always the amount of events, but the quality. And I've now started budgeting my time into traveling, but at least around in these parts, I have to travel 4 to 5 hours for a decent event.
Wow.
So it's a rare thing.
That's commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 5-hour trip to Adepticon, but I got to play 7 games in 2 days.
Okay. That's not bad.
That's pretty good. Pretty impressive. 7 games. He sounds like Dan Elan.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. And as I was saying, I started out with the Skaven. I've got a good amount of about 4,000 points painted up with them, and I just started an Orc army as well with the new book.
Oh, okay. What do you think to the new book?
I really like the new book. I think
I think that makes you the first.
yeah, I like the troop options a lot more. I think like Savage Orcs really make the army a strong core choice, and I actually like the little Wa better than the big Wa. So I'm thinking I'm going to change my list around and play test some more. But I haven't won a game with them yet. That doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. Maybe I'm just not experienced with them.
Have you tried the Spider yet?
I have tried the Spider. I just posted some progress photos on my blog. I'm starting to paint the Arachnarok, and it's a lot of fun to play that guy. The first time out, he Venom surged a Dark Elf Wizard Lord for 6 wounds.
Wicked.
Nice.
Do you run it with the Flinger?
No, I don't. I don't put any upgrades on it.
Give the Flinger
my
a try.
philosophy is he's either marching or charging.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I can see that.
So I like to get him in there real quick rather than moving around and using his accessories.
Okay.
I quite like the idea of I know it sounds daft for Orcs, but a more defensive army, counter-punching. Yes. So a few war machines, a load of chariots, a spider, some magic. So people have to come to you because you've got a lot of firepower, a lot of magic. And then you countercharge him with the spider. When the flinger will be useful, and with the chariot units. But I don't know, it's not very orky, really, is it?
Works well. That's the army I used against Steve Rem.
And you'd stick the Savage Orc horde with bows in as well.
No Savage Orc Arrow boys.
No, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so far I've been doing kind of a put down the main army in the middle and rush it forward, but I've been trying to get the support units on the side with pump wagons and mangler squigs and the Arachnarok somewhat close to the general's leadership.
How have you found the manglers?
Very well so far. The first game I took 2 of them.
Yeah.
And it wrecked the Hydra that I faced. The second game he got eaten by Banshees, so he didn't do much.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay, so back to Adepticon then. Your first year there, did you go with the intention of just playing as much Warhammer as you could? Or did you think, I'll have a day Warhammer in, a day doing the show, and what was your plan with that?
My plan was to get as much competitive Warhammer out of the event as possible. So I signed up for the Friday Big Brawl tournament, which is 3,000 points. And I also signed up for the Saturday Championships, was 2,200. And the only reason I didn't play in the team tournament on Sunday was because I didn't have a teammate.
Oh, fair enough. You couldn't advertise for one on the forums or anything then?
I didn't really try hard to look when I didn't find someone locally because I would have liked to try to play a few games together and coordinate our army. And I'm kind of glad I didn't just rush into it because there were some amazing setups where people really put time into their team armies. And I think next year I'll go with the intention of putting the extra time into it because it seemed like a really fun event.
So was the team event on the Sunday?
Yeah, that was on Sunday. And that was kind of the other reason I wanted to be able to wind down after 2 whirlwind days of Warhammer and just look through the exhibit hall, take in the crystal brush contest, and kind of hang out with all the guys that I met throughout the weekend.
So what other options was there for gaming from Warhammer? Was it just the 3 tournaments on, or was the sort of tournaments running simultaneously?
On Friday, they had 2 separate 1,000-point tournaments that went on during the same time as the 3,000-point tournament.
So how many games?
But then Saturday was the whole gaming hall because there were 140 players in the championships.
Okay.
So how many games were these tournaments?
The Big Brawl was 3 games.
Yeah.
With the only restriction was no grand armies.
Okay.
And then the 2,200-point championships was 4 games in a row.
Right.
Was there any restrictions on that one?
There was about the same, no special characters. They had a couple restrictions for Dogs of War and no Rhinox, and otherwise nothing that affected most armies. So there were Power Scrolls and Double Hydra plenty.
Power Scroll.
What sort of list was you seeing? Was people going in with like the hard boy attitude, or were they bringing a bit of everything?
I have to say it was more of an hard boy attitude because that's kind of that's coming up real soon. So a lot of people are kind of gearing up for that. And there were sports scores, but there were not any comp scores.
Okay.
So you could tell by the armies looking around. I saw probably about 12 or 15 Dark Elf armies, and only 1 or 2 did not have double Hydras and a Cauldron.
Good stuff. And I'm sure your Skaven army was ever so soft, yeah?
Oh, yeah, it was, absolutely. It's about as soft as I could have made it.
There was no such thing.
My 3,000-point tournament list had 2 abominations, and then my 2,200-point list had an abomination and 2 warp lightning cannons.
Excellent, excellent. So how did you go over the weekend in the tournaments? What did you face? Anything particularly that caught your eye, or anything particularly nasty?
Well, I had the only interesting thing was they set the cutoff date for the army lists that would have not allowed 8th edition Orcs and Goblins to be played, but about 5 minutes before we started rolling dice, they came over the mic and announced that 8th edition lists would be allowed if your opponent agreed to it. So I ended up playing both 7th edition and 8th edition Orcs throughout the tournament, so that was pretty interesting.
That's a bit of a fail,
crazy,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only downside of it was First game, I got Foot of Gorked 8 times in the same turn, and I didn't. I hadn't read the rule book thoroughly, and he didn't scatter it at all, so I just got pounded on the entire turn.
It reached 8 times in one turn.
Oh yeah, he rolled 4+, 8 times in a row, all on my screaming bell.
All on your bell?
All on the bell.
Did it kill it?
And then he did not kill it, but then he hit it with a rock lobber and did 6 wounds to it after that, so it was definitely dead.
He didn't kill it?
Well, it's only strength 6 hit. And it's got a ward save,
he didn't. He didn't do anything to the bell itself because of the magic resist and the 4+ ward. He killed the unit around it and then just sniped it with the rock lobber.
And how did you go in that one? Did you get the win?
I actually did get a win, which was surprising because I was pretty devastated throughout the game. He ended up getting a power scrolled Curse of the Bad Moon off too, but I used my cannons to snipe at his large unit, and on the last turn, power scroll 13th spell, which is the immaculate Skaven tactic.
The win button.
Yeah, so I took out his Savage Orc, his General, his BSB, and his level 4 in a single spell.
Nice.
Oh dear.
And throughout the tournament, it was a lot of the same thing. There was power scrolls going all over the place. The next game I got a win against Warriors, which it may not always be the case. At least in the case of my Skaven, it seems like Warriors are almost automatically a win, whereas in the third game I fought the one that's almost automatically a loss, Vampires, for my Skaven. So I got hit by a Power Scroll Purple Sun that managed to take out an Abomination and my Plague Furnace in a single cast, even though they only fail on a 5 and a 6 each.
Oh dear.
Hang on.
So I ended up going 2-1 in the big brawl.
Oh, right. This was the 3,000 point game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a 3,000 point. Bring everything you got.
So did you see anything which the points level changed how you perceive the matchup? So let's say at 2,000 points, you think, oh, X can beat Y easily, but when that's bumped up to 3,000, it switches around.
I actually think that's the case with Vampires. It seems once they start getting a lot more points, they're able to get the extra Vampires in there, the more than one Lore Master to get the more spell matchups they like, the larger units of ghouls, which is a lot of what I saw, and it doesn't hurt them so much to send a Power Scroll Vampire down your flank, whereas the lower points you might not be able to get a second Vampire with a high level or a Power Scroll because you have to rely on your general to not die and cause your army to crumble.
Yeah. So did you see any pretty good combos in the 3,000 points? Anything like, I don't know, 40 Chosen in one unit or anything daft like that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
So I says at the 3,000 points, did you see any particularly good combos? Like, I don't know, a 40 Chosen warrior army or something crazy which you wouldn't be able to bring at the lower points levels?
I did see the second game in the big brawl. I fought against a unit of, I think, 30 Chosen, and they were Khorne with the Terror Banner, and he ran 2 War Shrines. So he was able to get him the 3+ ward save.
And then you made him go away with the 13th.
And they go away with the 13th. Yep, that's exactly... that's why I had 2 Greyseers in my list, one on a bell and one on foot with a Power Scroll.
Nice.
Excellent. I like that. We approve.
Yes, definitely.
You've been talking about the 2 Greyseers for a while, haven't you, Ben?
That's going to Call of War.
Is
2
it?
Seers. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent.
Yeah, last year for Ardboys, I got 3rd overall in the whole event, and I rode the coattails of the double Greyseer all the way through.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was one game where I got 2 13th spells off in the same turn and just deleted a unit of Tzeentch Chosen.
Yeah, that's it. Plague, 13th, get them off.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to the Odd Boys in a bit, actually, because I wanted to talk to you about that. So,
sure, yeah.
The Warhammer Championships at Adepticon, then, is this a big prestigious event throughout the country, or is it just another tournament?
I think it is probably one of the larger Warhammer events in the country. Like I said, it was my first time there this year, but they mentioned that it was the largest it had ever been at, I think the final count was about 137 or 132 players. It was pretty exciting to be a part of it.
And did you go into that thinking you was a contender for first, or was there any names on the entry list that you were worried about meeting up with?
Well, the only problem with not being in the tournament scene in other states other than Michigan is that I don't really recognize too many of the names. So I guess that means I don't get starstruck if I get lined up against somebody that's supposed to be a pretty tough opponent.
Okay.
I won the 2 primer tournaments that I was using to practice for the event, so I was pretty confident going in, knowing that I was playing a decently nasty Skaven list.
And what was in your 2000 list? Just the 1 seer, 2 cannons, abomination. Do you remember
the 2000 list had a Grey Seer on foot with a power scroll, a battle standard bearer with minimal protection. I think he had a Dragonbane gem and just an enchanted shield or something. I had a naked warlock with a doom rocket, couple blocks of slaves, a block of storm vermin, block of clan rats, a big block of plague monks with the plague furnace, 2 units of poison gutter runners, 2 warp lightning cannons, and the A-bomb.
Sounds beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was a brutal list.
Okay, so how did you go over the day in this one then?
Well, my first game was against double high cauldron elves. That it was really only one of the combos that I was worried about facing, and I sat across it first time. I actually stole the initiative, and the scenario was such that it was basically a storm banner for the first 2 turns that got slightly worse. So I went for it right away. Skitter leaped my Grey Seer into the middle of his lines. Power Scroll cracks call through both of his Hydras. The only problem is he passed both initiative tests.
Oh man.
So my Grey Seer was able to stay alive because I used my Storm Banner. So it had -4 to all shooting, so all of his shades couldn't kill it. And I was eventually able to leap back, but I got pretty lucky when the next turn I fired both of my cannons and killed both Hydras.
Well, he deserved it after the 2 initiative tests, and that's coming from a Dark
I was pretty amazed that he passed it, so it's kind of karma that it came back to him.
Yeah.
He ended up taking a charge with his general with the reverse ward pendant with my A-bomb. I didn't do any wounds, but he didn't do any back, so he failed his leadership test, and I ran him down, and that pretty much sealed the game for me.
That'll teach him for taking filthy items.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
I got it was crazy dice all over the place. That was one of the beauties of Twitter too, is I was posting updates as it happened, and people were in disbelief.
Yeah. I love Twitter.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Oh.
Pretty cool.
So game 2?
Game 2, I played against Chris Hughes High Elves, who you might have seen some of the pictures online. He won Player's Choice for his display board. It was like a high elf city with a river going through it, and all of his movement trays and bases matched which part of the city that his high elves were on.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
so it was a beautiful setup, but the game itself was a lot of movement and tactical movement more so than engaging. And I pretty much grounded all of his eagles with the Storm Banner and the Warp Storm spell for Skaven that stops flying. And as he marched forward, I was shooting his units to lower them so that I was able to delete the White Lions with the good old Power Scroll 13 spell to try to make the rest go easy for me.
Oh, I love it. This is brilliant. Power Scroll 13. See, we got a reputation on here.
It's great stuff.
As being filthy with horrible, nasty armies. And we welcome you to the fold.
Yeah.
See, I'm giving away all my tactical secrets as delicate as they are on your
It's not
show.
all that tactical, Brad. It's really not.
Hey, everyone else can bring it.
Yeah, that's true.
I spent all of my dispel attempts pretty much just trying to get rid of Throne of Vines from his level 4 life mage, because he really wanted to Dwellers my general, so he was a little afraid to do that early on because I spent my scrolls and all of my dice to get rid of that first. When he finally went for it, he got it off 3 times on 3 turns, and I passed all 3 tests with my general.
That's quite impressive.
Yeah, it was, again, I mean, my dice were lucky. They came back to bite me the previous day, but I got through it to the point where finally, once I got the A-bomb into the Sword Masters and all of his combat units were gone, I was able to pick up the solid victory.
Excellent. So this is 3-game tournament, is it? Or is it 4-game tournament?
4-game tournament.
4-game tournament. So by now you've had two good wins.
Two solid wins.
Are you looking around at the other table? What sort of table are you getting up? Getting on the top at the moment?
They actually reversed the tables, so you'd play on different tables.
Oh right. Okay.
So I was towards the bottom, which actually was the top, probably about 10 or 15 tables at that point.
And what sort of other armies were you seeing up there?
There were a couple Skaven players, a lot of Warriors of Chaos, Dark Elves, Demons, and actually there were a couple of Orc and Goblin players.
And was there any particular combos that caught your eye as being not so much run-of-the-mill, or was it all just pretty cookie-cutter?
There was one Dark Elf Cavalry unit that had a unit of Cold Ones that was, I think, 30 strong. I'm not entirely sure that's how big it was, but it was about as big as I could have seen on the table next to me.
I like that. I've played with something like that in the past, and it's pretty good, but it's only a one-trick pony. You play with
then the typical double Hydra Cauldron lists up there, and blocks of bloodletters for the demons, and lots of power game stuff, the normal stuff that you would expect.
Yeah. So how'd you get on in Game 3?
Game 3 was the tragic game that I lost in the championships. I faced off against vampires, and it was meeting engagement where his BSB was off the table, so he was setting up his entire back line. I thought it would be pretty easy at that point where I'd be able to shoot and magic him off the board, but first turn, my unit of Storm Vermin who were in reserve came onto the table. First shot, my Warp Lightning Cannon exploded, and the Storm Vermin ran right back off the table.
Oh dear, not good.
So, from then on, it was more of a slow-playing game where we tried to pick each other off for victory points, and eventually ended up losing by about 200 points, and that Storm Vermin unit cost about 280 points.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. It's hard to come back from that in the first turn, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was hard to come back. I tried to 13th spell his ethereal units to try to get rid of what I couldn't deal with, and I got his Graveguard down to 2 models and couldn't finish them off, and he was able to bring them all back.
Don't you hate it when they do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Keith Wilkinson did that to me in the Masters.
Vampires are my bane.
Yeah.
I continue to lose to them.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? There's always one as well, and he's normally got a standard waving his flag at you. You can't get this.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
It's annoying. So that pretty much puts you out of the running then on a 4-game event. Does 4 games of 130 players?
Yeah. It was when I sat down at the 4th table. It was definitely about just having fun. A little of the pressure was off, and my opponent and I made a really fun game out of it.
So who did you play in the 4th one?
I ended up playing 7th edition Orcs and Goblins this time.
Okay, that's good.
So it was Blood and Glory. So I sat down and I pretty much tried to protect my Grey Seer and castle around him, while I sent my Plague Furnace down the flank just to fight everything it touched. It pretty much won the game for me. It went through a unit of Wolf Riders into his general with a giant unit of Big and Boys, where he had previously Power Scroll Wad into the Plague Furnace. It was kind of a tactical error because his wolves were out of position, and they were the ones that ran into the Plague Furnace, which allowed it to kill them the next turn and get into his general. So by the time it did its work, it broke them the first turn, didn't catch them. Second turn, charged them, finished them off, and won me the game.
How many Plague Monks are in the unit?
30 Plague Monks with the Furnace.
Yeah, and the Plague Banner.
It had the Banner of Eternal Flame, actually.
Oh, Banner of Eternal, okay.
Oh, interesting.
I had relied on that a couple of times in previous tournaments to fight Wood Elves and Hydras, and once against an A-Bomb.
Okay.
You're liking the Plague Banner, aren't you, Ben, on yours?
I am liking the Plague Banner. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah.
It does.
The other thing that I've been recommended is use the Banner of the Under Empire because it's unbreakable. It's just sitting there every turn doing those 2d6 hits.
That's 2d6 hits on every unit, is it?
I think it's every unit, but it's only strength 2.
I thought, is it not only models in base-to-base contact with the banner as well?
That's the I think that's the venomous one, the poison one that ignores armor saves.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, do you not find that the furnish doesn't last long, though, in a protracted combat?
In one tournament that I played it in, I played the Bell and the Furnace to have the make the choice difficult. In that list, I didn't have an A-bomb, so it was just the 2 big guys.
Yeah.
And combined with the Storm Banner, it makes it a little bit more difficult. There's a little bit of survivability. It actually has only been killed once in a tournament game. So it's done pretty well on survivability for me.
I'll be honest with you, I can't remember me losing it in a tournament game. I've lost it a few times. I've lost it to 7 skinks in one sitting before.
Yeah.
That was upsetting. But no, tournaments, I can't remember losing it.
Maybe people are a bit more reluctant to commit to it in a tournament game because they know if they don't kill it, it's going to cause havoc. Whereas in practice games...
Even if it doesn't cause havoc, it'll hold you up for the rest of the game unless you kill everything with it.
So where did you finish overall then in the championship?
I actually did better than I thought. I ended up getting, I think, 23rd overall because I had max painting and 1 point short of max sports scores.
Oh, that's good then. Still,
yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
With a horrendous army.
Awfully sporting with your power scroll.
Yes.
Okay, so is this sort of event the usual thing that you'd go to, or do you get a good wide variety when you get attending tournaments? Is like no comp the way it's done in America? Or
I like to go a good variety. The Great Lakes Warhammer League has their own comp system that you can't take double rares unless the rare is under 100 points. You can't take more than 5 war machines. There's a magic system in place where you can cap out on 12 dice per phase, no matter what, even with rumination or being a dark elf. And Dwellers gets a Lookout Sir, and any spell that causes instant death allows magic resistance to be taken as a ward save. So for like my Screaming Bell unit, if it gets hit by Dwellers, I'd have a 5+ ward save because it's magic resistance too.
Okay.
I've not heard of people
sort of
doing it
comp
that way
that's
before.
in the league and the league season tournaments.
Yeah, so there's a good mix then. So the no comp ones are a bit of a let your hair down, wild.
Yeah, I have to admit, those are usually the ones I have the most fun at because Skaven bring a whole lot of nastiness to the table if you really try.
Yeah.
We've said that a few times, though. Some of the best tournament games that we've had have been at proper no-comp, bring your filth, events where everyone's on the same page. It's great fun.
Yeah, so long as going in, you know what to expect. It's a good experience. There's only been one time where someone brought a non-nasty list to an Ard Boys tournament that they had kind of a bad time. But otherwise, I usually have really good opponents, and everyone has a good time about it.
Excellent. So, do you remember who and what won the Big Bash and the championships at Adepticon?
I don't remember his name, but I know Demons won overall for the Adepticon Fantasy Championship.
Okay, and what about is it the Big Bash, the 3,000 point one?
Oh, the Big Brawl? I actually think it might have been two brothers that won each of the events. I could be completely wrong, but I know the Demons won the championship. I'm not sure about the Big Brawl.
Okay,
fair enough. So Adepticon was a good tournament then, good convention. You'll be there in the future, I imagine.
Yeah, it was a really good time. You guys will have to come next time. I met all the other podcast guys that I listen to from here in the States. Even the Podhammer boys from Australia were there.
Okay, what were they getting up to? Because I've seen nothing. It's 2 weeks now, or 10 days, and they've not put a show up, so they must be pretty hungover.
They went straight from Chicago to Las Vegas, I believe, so who knows what they got up to when they were there.
Oh, right, that explains it then. They're buried in a desert.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, so Ard Boys, you touched on it earlier. For those that don't know, it's basically a Games Workshop run, bring whatever you want, isn't it? Heats run all around
it's
the
run by
country.
the retail department, so it's really all about buying more models and playing large games of Warhammer.
Yeah, sounds good. And what? So you go to a heat in your local store, and then you get a regional final, and then you go to a final of the. Is it a national final?
It's last year they started running 3 separate finals across the country. So the one I went to last year was in Chicago at the Battle Bunker.
Okay. And what did you think to this sort of event? Is it good, bad, indifferent?
I think it's pretty good. It really promotes playing the rules as written in the rule book, which can be good, it can be bad, but like we said earlier, everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows what to expect, so it's not a tournament where you can get real upset if you get beat by a unit deleting spell or a game ending spell. It's almost a race to see who can do it first, while at least being friendly about it when you smash the other guy's face in.
So does this does it go some way to sort of improving the hobby in the local stores? Obviously, everyone going to the stores already are into the hobby, but like if they've got the Hard Boys coming up, does everyone start playing Warhammer instead of the other games? Does it seem to drum up a lot of support, or what sort of turnout do they get at each of the stores?
The 2 prelims that I attended were about 20 people each, but that's because there are so many prelim locations that if that many people showed up to a lot of the different locations, that's really a lot of participation. I think it's better because it doesn't require painting, it doesn't require any restrictions, so people can really come to play rather than having to worry about getting their army done in time or doing anything specific based on composition requirements for a certain event.
And then what is it, the top 1 or the top 2 from each go through to the next round?
The top 3 from each round get invited to the next round as you go, and then one of the bigger prizes is if you win first place at a semifinal, they give you a full 3,000 point army from Games Workshop.
Wow, so there's some bit of prize support from GW as well. Sounds great. Certainly something I'd like to see the stores over in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a bit of the Yorkshire Open. The stores around Yorkshire do a little bit, don't they? But it's nothing
on a countrywide scale.
Not. Yeah, it certainly sounds like an event I'd like to attend, and it's starting again soon, isn't it?
Yeah, actually Saturday. So I've been practicing a few games since I got back, but I haven't had much time to prepare, so I've only got a couple of days before the prelims now.
Is it true what you've put on Twitter that you're taking 3 A-bombs?
I haven't decided yet. The scenarios are such this year that 2 out of the 3 scenarios are meeting engagements. Okay. And each of those scenarios are both anti-gun line. So, I mean, at that point, I got to think to myself, yes, this is Ardboys. Pretty nasty combination, 3 Helping Abominations.
And can you get your furnace in as well?
I do have my furnace in it as well, along with 2 Grey Seers.
Oh, yeah, get it done, mate. Get it done.
Yeah. I'm toying with the idea of dropping one of the Grey Seers for a Vermin Lord, but 6 Thunderstomps in an army is pretty horrendous.
Can you get 2 Warp Lightning Cannons in as well?
No, that's what I've been trying to decide. I was going to drop one of the Abominations and put 3 Warp Lightning Cannons in.
That'd be pretty good.
It would be, but the first scenario is you have to roll an artillery dice to see how far that you can see for the entire turn.
Yeah.
And then the third scenario is the one where you have to roll on a random chart. One of the results is all units on the table take D6 wounds with no save of any kind.
What?
Yeah, it's a brutal scenario. It's the Chaos Portal scenario. You can I don't know if you can get on the US Games Workshop site to check out the scenarios, but it's a D6 at the start of every game turn. On a 1, all units on the table have frenzy. On a 2, all units on the table take D6 wounds with no save of any kind. So that on a decent roll is killing a Warp Lightning Cannon outright anytime that result is rolled.
If you roll a 6?
Yeah. On a 3, it's all wizards on the table channel all dice the entire turn. On a 4, it's basically a Storm Banner. I forget what a 5 is, but on a 6, both generals get +1 to all stats that stacks throughout the game.
Nice.
So if you roll a 6 for 6 turns, your general's getting +6 to all of his stats. And then on top of that, he gets a 3+ ward save, but he's stupid.
Oh,
So what? He'll be leadership 10.
Yeah, and in combat,
It's fine.
Yeah.
10 attacks for the 10.
Weapon skill 10, strength 10, leadership 10.
so I like the idea of this. It's some crazy scenarios.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
I played a practice game, and I did 5 wounds to one of my A-bombs in the first turn of the game.
Nice.
So I that's the philosophy for me with Skaven. If something's good, just bring more of them.
Yeah. Seems to work with everything, not just
Yeah.
Skaven.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Okay.
hard, boys. You might as well just bring 3.
Yeah, of course. And will these all be painted if you take 3?
They are all painted. I have one Games Workshop. I have one of the Caller from Necromunda,
Yeah.
and I have one that I converted up myself.
Excellent. And people can see these on your blog, I imagine, yeah?
Yep, it's relianstabletop.com.
Relianstabletop.com. There'll be a link to that in the show notes. I'll also stick the Hard Boy scenarios up there as well. So if people want to check out the Bad Dice forums for that. Okay, so while we're on the subject of modelling, what are you working on at the moment?
I actually have been cheating on Warhammer a little bit. I picked up some Warhammer 40k resin Thunderwolves made by Paulson Games that I've been working into my Space Wolves army.
Oh, you play 40k as well, do you? Play the bow?
A little bit. I haven't played it all that much since I've been doing so many tournaments lately with fantasy, but that's originally how I got started back into the scene, was playing at my local store 40k and seeing fantasy again.
Okay, did you play any other games, or was it just the GW stuff?
I just started playing Blood Bowl. I played my first game 2 weeks ago, and I started building up a Skaven team.
That's it, you'll be hooked.
Yeah.
I know. I had a great time. It's a really fun game.
It is. It's a great
Yeah,
game.
we like Blood Bowl. Don't play it enough. but
No, not at all.
It's a really, really cracking game. Okay, well, thanks for coming on and chatting to us. We've had a good chat all about Adepticon, which filled us in on some of the American tournament scene antics, so that's all good. So, yeah, thanks for coming and chatting to us. Is there anything you want to add before you clear off?
I just wanted to say thanks to you guys for letting me come on. I'm a big fan, and it's always good to talk to the guys that I listen to at work when I just try to absorb as much 40k and fantasy information as possible throughout the week.
Oh, well, thanks for listening.
Cheers, buddy.
We enjoyed doing it. Especially, it's good to hear from a listener who's so enthusiastic about tournaments, same as we are, so it's always good. So, yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks a lot for chatting to us, and maybe we'll get you on again sometime.
And keep up
All
the
right,
Twitters.
my pleasure,
Yeah,
guys.
keep up the Twitters. So, sorry, what's your Twitter name, just so people can follow you on Twitter?
At Relion, RHELLION.
Excellent. Okay, thanks a lot, Brad.
Cheers, Brad.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Once upon a time, there was a guy named Oggy. Oggy loved nothing more than to go to a Warhammer tournament on a Saturday afternoon. He'd got his lovely army all ready to go, all purchased from the Og Games web store. And he'd even lined up his first 8th edition Warhammer event. The day of the tournament came, and it was horrible. He got smashed in every single game. It was all too much. Oggy was ready to give in. He'd had enough. He didn't want to play this silly game anymore. It was going to be an epic rage quit. And then the voices started.
Oggy, embrace the filth. Oggy, embrace the filth.
It was like a switch had been flipped. Oggy was a new gamer. He headed straight to the Og Games web store, oggames.co.uk, and he created his armies of mass destruction, and the best thing was, they were all at 15% off. So head on over to oggames.co.uk, where you can get anything you need from the Games Workshop universe at 15% off. They also have a huge range of products that can satisfy all your wargaming needs. That's oggames.co.uk. Okay, so another show about done and dusted.
Yeah.
So how excited are you for South Coast this weekend?
Yeah, not so much.
Lies.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay, I'm looking forward to a weekend of tormenting Ben Diesel.
See, I'm not. I'm not going to torment him. I think I'm going to get in there first. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got a feeling 150 guys all riding him is going to explode.
Wearing I Love Ben Diesel pin badges.
Yes.
So there was a thread on the forum this week. I think it's the Twitter thread. Hands up if you're twittering at the forum, at the South Coast. And everyone who posted on it had got I Love Ben Diesel as their avatar. And it's just a nightmare to follow.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for the weekend. Nama Corsairs are about finished. Not finished yet, but about finished. Army's ready to go. Still got a few bits to do. Basically, now I'm back home instead of working away. Starting to get excited. I think Dan Elam tweeted on Monday who's up for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, not me. Could do with being another week away. Well, yeah, proper excited. So, what are you taking? Is there anything new in this list for this weekend?
So I've took Paint and Plague Furnace up for it, which I've not took to a tournament yet. That's in 37 Plague Monks Furnace. Paint myself a new warp landing cannon, like I said, which would be nice. That's about it for new stuff.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's the same army. I've been running it for a while with the intention of getting it painted for the South Coast.
Yeah.
I managed to get it done a bit early. So yeah, that was good. I got most of my stuff for Call to War painted as well.
Oh, excellent!
Which is nice. I'm
it's good being off work, isn't it?
I'm ahead of myself a little bit. So yeah, it's pretty standard. Seer, 3 engineers, BSB, 2 clan rats, 2 slaves, 3 little packs of rats, 9 ninjas with all the kit, cannon, doom wheel, not a doom wheel, plague claw, A-bomb.
Sounds good. So I've got some questions for you. What paint scores are in use?
It's the Dan, Wayne and Rush extravaganza system.
Everyone gets the middle. Some of it's shit, gets a bit less. Some of it's good, gets a bit more.
Yeah, basically, the way it's been done before, if I remember correctly, is it's a score out of 10. Everything gets a 5. If it's proper dire, it gets a 3. And if they have to remove models for being a complete mess or unpainted, it's a 0, I think. And then there's everything that's in contention for sort of best army gets an 8. And then I think the best army gets a 10.
Okay.
I think.
Sounds good. Okay, what sportsmanship is being used?
Not a clue.
Okay. It's 20-0 system, I assume.
Tell you what.
You can see where I'm going with this, can't you?
I'm going to get my rules pack out.
I've not read the rules pack at all, even to the point of when it came to writing my army list, I asked Twitter what the comp was, and people says this. I'm like, oh, my list should go straight in then and just email my list in. Didn't get a message back saying it was illegal, so hopefully I'm all good.
Okay, I've not got a rules pack.
How many dice can I throw at Mindraiser?
I believe you can throw as many as you want.
Okay, Mindraiser discussion. Back to the old favourite.
No, I don't think. No, I think there is a cap. I think it's 7.
Okay. Anyway,
I don't know.
Mindraiser discussion. Back to the old favourite. ETC comp's gone up. The final draft.
Yeah, but it's not the final draft, is it? Because you're going to have to change it because of Mindraiser.
Well, I've got an argument for Mindraiser. ETC notoriously being points denial, gun line, sitting on the baseline, shooting each other. Do you want to be comping a combat spell? Or do you want to be... So the Dark Elves, right? You either bring a combat army, which uses Mindraiser to a pretty good effect. I'm not going to deny it. It abuses Mindraiser. Or do you comp Mindraiser and make them bring an avoidance shooty gun line? Because that's what it'll come down to.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I think that the argument is, from people, is that they're the only one that can throw 10 dice.
That's their special rule, isn't it?
But again,
you know what I mean?
That was written 3 years ago.
And so were all the other books except all.
They were, but it does break quite a big hole in it, I think, is the argument from people. Whether they're right, whether they're wrong, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But you've got to admit, there are a lot of people, a lot of captains have asked for a vote.
It's not a lot of captains at all.
Well, I saw about 8.
One captain so far.
Sorry, one captain's asked for the vote, and about 8 have thought going, yeah, I'll back that.
No, just randoms, not captains.
Oh, well, they're not going to... Sorry, I thought they were captains. I thought only captains could post in that thread.
No. Anyone can post. Okay. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. It's the ETC's always been a line-up at the back and see who's got the longest range. Comping a combat spell.
Well, the other thing that we touched on with Brad, you can only have one Dark Elf army per team.
Yeah.
So that's
And everyone can bring it.
Everyone can bring it. That is a comp in itself, I suppose, to an extent.
Anyway, that was just my 2 pence worth. It's sort of it annoyed me today, as if people were having a dig when I was reading it about the Dark Elf players have wrote the comp. No, it's not about that.
AR's not my bit, not anymore.
Well, anyway, so yeah, my Dark Elves South Coast might be using a bit of Mind Razor action, but only 6 dice, or maybe 7. I don't know. I'm gonna have to read his rules pack. I'm gonna get Wildman to read it to me in his sexy voice in the car on the way down. And
you're not getting no cum stains on my car.
So he wants to take some champagne as well. Champagne in the back of the Vectra.
In the back of the Vectra estate. Classy.
Yeah, lovely. So yeah, thoroughly looking forward to the South Coast.
You know what I'm taking, don't you?
Here. Go on.
A bottle of wine and a little thermos cup.
Really? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, keep it cool.
It's tea, honest.
Yeah, excellent. So anything else you want to plug? I suppose we best talk about Twitter, hadn't we?
Twitter, yeah.
So we talked about it with Brad on the show earlier. Follow us on Twitter. It's Bad Dice _podcast. Not just us. Follow everyone else.
Yep.
There's at Heel and Hammer.
Heel and Hammer.
At
Black
the Black
Sun.
Sun.
Trim Controls.
Yeah,
Two Gamer Radio.
Absolutely loads of the Twitter folk. If you go on the twitter.com website and search for Bad Dice _podcast /live-events. Bit of a mouthful. I'll put a link up on the forum in the episode notes. That's a list of all the people I follow who goes to tournaments. If they go to a tournament and they've tweeted from a tournament, I'll add them to the list. So it's pretty easy to find all the tournament regulars in one place, and then you can follow them from there.
Can you just select all?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure. With the website, it's really, really easy to use. I'm not sure how it interacts with the apps at all. Okay. I don't think it does. It might do. I'm not sure. I think something like that TweetDeck, things like that will.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the standard Twitter apps. I'm sure someone will be on Twitter talking about how the lists work. But yeah, follow us on Twitter. It's Bad Dice _podcast. So yeah, anything else before we clear off?
Yes. Another Twitter fellow. I forgot to bring it with me, actually. Amy's Revenge.
Okay.
Mike made me something.
Okay, right.
Sent it over. I thought it was going to be a parcel of anthrax or something.
He emailed us and says he wants an address, doesn't he? What was it?
It was a Foot of Gork template.
Oh, you're joking.
No, made out of green stuff with Bad Dice sort of, not carved into it, but part of the stencil.
Oh, right, okay. So why didn't you bring it tonight?
I forgot all about it. It only came yesterday, and it's on the fireplace. There's a photo of it.
Oh, nice.
It's really cool. Apart from one little problem, it's really thin.
Yeah.
So it's quite flimsy. It had already broken a little bit in the mail. So I don't know. I think I might have to laminate it or something like that to keep it in one piece.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Just want to say thank you there to Mike. Amy's Revenge on Twitter.
Excellent. So if anyone else wants to make us stuff and send it in, feel free.
Just send it to this lad's address, not mine.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's another episode in the bag. Episode 60 next time. It'll be our South Coast wrap-up. We hopefully got another special guest coming on next episode.
Yes.
Steve Wren's going to be coming on talking about his Warhammer Achievements event, hopefully.
That's the plan at the minute.
Maybe not. I don't know. We're also at the South Coast. We're going to be doing some recording with our new handheld mic. So we'll be wandering around the hall recording.
Handheld mic and iPhone.
Wandering around the hall recording at the tables rather than trying to drag people off to a side room.
Yeah.
Also, the Fail Hammer podcast guys are apparently going to be at the South Coast recording as well. So don't know anything about them. Heard the name before. Never heard any of the shows. So check them out. It's Fail Hammer. I don't know. Just Fail Hammer, I think.
.com.
So do a search for them. They'll be covering the South Coast GT as well. So that's it. Another episode in the bag. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everyone.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by Ben and Ben Productions. If you actually enjoyed the show and feel the need to tell other people about it, you can leave a positive review on iTunes. You can contact both your hosts at The Bens baddice.co.uk, or you can contact us individually on Ben Curry at baddice.co.uk or Ben Johnson at baddice.co.uk. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Bad Dice Podcast.